Welcome to this special broadcast on Times Network. One of the year's most awaited IPO has hit the market, and we have none other than the force behind this IPO. We have with us in this exclusive interaction Mr. Pranav Adani, Director Adani Wilmar Limited. Sir, thank you so much for joining us and welcome to Times Network. First of all, congratulations. The one of the most awaited IPO has just opened. Uh, and these are interesting times because we have seen how IPO market behaved last year as well. Give us a brief overview about one is the IPO itself and the purpose of this IPO at this point. How you are going to spend the proceeds. If you can give us a brief overview.
Thank you, Mihir, for having me over. This is a primary offering issue that we have. We plan to raise about 3,600 crore rupees in this IPO. Largely, we are going to use this for three core uses for the group. One is we are going to spend about 1,900 crores for capex. About 1,100 crores we plan to release our loans and debts. And about 450 crores we plan to use for mergers and acquisitions. So this is what the planning is for the fund that we are raising.
Right. And there is no secondary offering.
No, there is no secondary offering. All the money goes into the uses of the company.
Right. Now, sir, the proceeds of this IPO, technically you will be retiring almost all debt. So you'll be virtually debt free. Now, what about the spend of proceeds towards expansion and acquisition? Because that is also one of the purpose, like you rightly mentioned, of the IPO.
So see, what we plan to do is out of this 1,900 crores, largely all the amount that we spend on capex is going to be for the food businesses.
Okay.
Going forward, we see a very large future in the food businesses. Today, almost 11% by volumes in Adani Wilmar is food businesses. Almost 5 out of 6 items that are core in every kitchen in India is available by the Fortune household, whether it is wheat flour, whether it is rice, whether it is pulses, whether it is besan, whether it is sugar. We are available across all the categories and available in all the kitchens. Today, almost 90 million kitchens, that means almost 1/3 of the kitchens has Fortune products available. So 1 out of every 3 kitchens in India today uses Fortune products. So I think going forward, we are very clear that a large part of our capex is going to be used for all these food items. And then, of course, we'll also look at acquisitions and mergers.
Right. You are already the largest, edible oil player in the segment among all the listed peers. Now, what is the strategy? Are you looking at further consolidation in market share? How do you further expand the market share that you are already sitting on? Because that's already very hefty.
So we'll have to look at it in two ways, Mihir. One is, let's first talk about edible oils. Today, almost 50% of the market is still fragmented. You have state-focused brands, and you have a lot of rural markets which are still using loose oils. So I think this is where we see a big scope as far as consolidation goes, either through acquisitions or either through having your rural penetration to be increased in distribution. So these are the ways that we look at expanding and consolidating our edible oil brands. And as far as food goes, we see a big scope. See, today, year on year, the food businesses across India are growing at about 30% CAGR, while edible oil is growing at about 8% CAGR. So there is a lot of scope to grow in the food business. People are now demanding a lot of packaged food products. So this is also where we see a large scope going forward.
Right. Also, like you rightly mentioned that, the 50% of the market is, especially in edible oil, is still fragmented. Is that also an opportunity for a player like you as people become more brand conscious, hygiene conscious and health conscious? Is that an opportunity also?
Yes, that is a very big opportunity. It's very natural for us to be going forward looking at things like rural markets. Like you said, a lot of it is still in loose, and now people are demanding hygienic products. So the first thing they'll do is go for a packaged oil, even if they go for a smaller pack of a liter. But this is what they will demand. So we see a big, to your point, we see a big demand coming in from the rural markets and from straight-driven markets.
Right. So there is also, a conscious expansion plan in the packaged food products and value-added segments. Now, can we expect this to reflect in a very healthy growth in EBITDA and net margin?
See, generally, food products give better margin than
Right.
edible oil in general. So going forward, we are very clear that our focus of the company is going to be on more packaged food products. Also edible oil will continue, but more focus is going to be going forward on all the food products. Like I said, all our capex, large part of it is going to be go for integrated food factories that we are planning to build, whether it is for wheat flour, whether it is for rice, whether it's basin, pulses, and the other products.
Right. Then what is the strategy for expansion in this space? Because, like you rightly mentioned, that it is a higher margin business compared to edible oil. So, what is your strategy or vision in terms of expansion in these verticals? Because edible oil remains a dominant force in your current product basket. But what is your thought process behind expansion?
So we have done a lot of survey on this, और ये survey में हमने ये भी देखा है कि आज जो demand आजकल आ रही है, there is a lot of demand for ready to cook food, ready to eat products, things like khichdi, things like poha. So these are the kind of things that we are now planning to get into. Besides that, we are also looking at low GI rice for very health conscious people. We are looking at fortified atta. These are the new products that we are in the phase of launching today. And this is all done by looking at the demand that the youth has today.
Right. And this will ride on the already robust distribution network that you have in
जी
place.
बिल्कुल. Today our distribution channel is among the top 3 in the country, and now considering that, it is very natural for us कि यही distribution के अंदर we put in all the other products that we are launching, and go to market is going to be so quick and so natural, because see, today if a housewife is already bringing in a fortune product in her kitchen, it is very natural for her to try new products that come in from the house of fortune. So we have that advantage with our distribution channels that we have today. तो जी हाँ, तो यही हमारा plan है कि in that distribution channel to go in and push in other products.
Right. So now one more challenge is, if we look at this business, the raw material input cost has been hurting this segment for a while, और वो एक problem इस पूरी industry के लिए भी रही है. Now, in your opinion, is worst behind us in terms of the commodity prices or the input costs?
अभी after the government reducing the import duties, you've seen the prices have been cooled off. Over the past few months, prices have gone down by 20-25%. 20 से 25% प्राइस ऑलरेडी करेक्शन हो चुका है.
Right.
उसके सिवाय इंडिया के अंदर जो सरसों का या मस्टर्ड का जो क्रॉप है, वो भी ये टाइम बहुत अच्छा दिख रहा है. It's a bumper crop. Even that will help in reduce the prices. So overall, I think the high prices का जो scenario था is largely behind us. So I think that now the prices will stabilize at this level.
Right. Out of curiosity, I want to know that you have such a strong brand presence and you are present in so many categories. Dairy and dairy products, that's a very stark missing link in your overall FMCG portfolio. Now, is it a conscious decision कि इस segment से हमें दूर रहना है? I mean, what is your thought process on the dairy segment?
So see, today you rightly said in the kitchen, we are largely available in all the products but dairy products.
Yeah.
Dairy products require a very different kind of infrastructure. It requires a different kind of cold chain and different kind of warehouses, which right now, presently, we are not looking at. So right now, in the overall scheme of things, dairy doesn't fit into that for the time being.
So you are ruling that out, at least in the foreseeable future.
That's right, yes.
Right. सर, एक जो हमने एक इम्पैक्ट देखा है पैंडेमिक का, more and more people have become conscious about health, hygiene, and effectively the preference of branded food products has increased. Now, as this plays out going forward, do you see any new categories where you would want to enter at some point? I mean, are there any categories which are on the horizon right now for you?
No, so see, Mihir, right now we are largely, like I said, available in all the staples, in all the kitchen product. But to your point, you're right. In the pandemic, we have seen a lot of people moving in from loose to packaged products because hygiene has become very important, and people want something that they are sure about. If it is in a pack form, whatever it says, the nutritional value, as well as it's not touched by human hands. So, which is why we have seen a lot of sale move into packaged commodity. Going forward, our focus is going to be in ready to eat products, ready to cook products, and a lot of other packaged nutritional products like fortified wheat and rice, GI rice, like I said.
Right. Now I'm asking you from industry point of view कि भारत में ये segment बहुत तेजी से grow कर रहा है, but if we compare to other markets, जैसे if we look at China की तुलना में India's branded packaged foods per capita consumption is almost 1/3. If we compare to a market like US, it's less than 5% अगर annual spend हम per capita देखें on packaged food. So इस पूरी industry के लिए what is your outlook? What is the kind of growth trajectory that you are looking at?
तो आप मुझे पूछे तो ये तो सबसे बड़ी अपॉर्चुनिटी है,
राइट?
जबकि हम देखते हैं कि हम पर कैपिटा बहुत लो है ये सब प्रोडक्ट्स में, तो अपॉर्चुनिटी उतनी ही बड़ी है. एंड आई फील कि ऐसी सब चीज़ों में अ ब्रांड लाइक फॉर्चून इज़ वेरी वेल प्लेस्ड, क्योंकि इट इज़ अ वेरी नेचुरल चॉइस फॉर एनी हाउसवाइफ, क्योंकि उनको एक कॉन्फिडेंस है. लास्ट 22 ईयर्स से जो भी हाउस होल्ड फॉर्चून यूज़ करता है, दे नो अबाउट द क्वालिटी. तो वो जानते हैं कि जो भी प्रोडक्ट फॉर्चून फ्रॉम द हाउस ऑफ फॉर्चून आएगा वो बहुत हेल्दी प्रोडक्ट होगा, हाइजीनिक प्रोडक्ट होगा. सो ये सब में हमको एक एडवांटेज रहेगा. आपकी बात सही है कि स्टेपल्स के अंदर आज हम बहुत कम कंजम्पशन है पैकेज फॉर्म में. सभी प्रोडक्ट में आज इंडिया लो है, लेकिन ये अपॉर्चुनिटी है. जिस तरह अभी यंग पॉपुलेशन बढ़ रही है, जिस तरह हाउस होल्ड इनकम्स बढ़ रही है, तो द फर्स्ट थिंग दैट वी विल डू इज स्पेंड ऑन फूड. फूड एक एकदम नेचुरल चीज़ है किचन के अंदर कि हम सब करेंगे. तो ये बहुत बड़ी अपॉर्चुनिटी है ग्रुप के लिए गोइंग फॉरवर्ड.
Right. Sir, you are in a segment which requires very visible retail presence, and you already have a very large, in fact, the largest presence in terms of retail network. The way consumer behavior is shifting, the way market is evolving, at any point, would you like to consider entering into specialized retail segment or a branded retail segment in a big way? Where the brand itself is driven from retail point of view.
Okay, so see, today our distributors as well as the retailers, 65% of them sell edible oils as well as other food products. So out of that 65%, where we are regularly supplying everything, it'll be very natural for us to add other products in those retail outlets. Besides that, in 25 cities, we already have Fortune online app, where directly we supply to the consumers all our Fortune products. We've seen a rise during the pandemic for the demand through the online app. Besides that, we also have about 20 Fortune Mart stores which sells exclusive Fortune products.
Now, sir, what I want to know is, if we look at the journey of Fortune as a brand, और ये एक आप बहुत बखूबी ये काम करते हैं, not many companies can do, where you acquire different businesses or different brands and merge it seamlessly with your existing main brand or the mainstay. And you have a very healthy track record of doing that. तो ये आगे भी इसी तरह से जारी रहेगा. What is your strategy or thought process behind this?
नहीं, I think for the growth prospects, acquisitions and mergers, these are very important tools. What we could do, say 20 years ago, we might not be very good at going forward. So we feel that acquisition is a tool which will help you grow at a faster pace, at a faster speed. तो अभी लास्ट 3 से 4 सालों में हमने ओवर अ डजन एक्विजिशन भी किया है, and that is how we have grown largely in Adani Wilmar. across. So to your question, where merging of the teams goes, we feel it is very important ke jo existing team hoti hai, we always continue them because they know the business as well. We given the strategic inputs, we given the strategic directions, and that is how we've been able to grow every acquisition that we have bought. And I can proudly say that every acquisition that we have done has seamlessly merged into our Adani Wilmar culture, into our Adani Wilmar teams very well.
And you're still looking for more once you're done with the IPO.
Always, yes, always.
So again, this is a industry level, view that I need from you. One is the current CAGR of the packaged food and value-added FMCG businesses and the industrial essential segment. Basically, the three major verticals for your business. Are you happy with the current CAGR that you are reporting, or would you want to further accelerate at least some of these segments?
So we will have to break this down into two baskets. One is what we call the food and FMCG basket, and one is what we call the edible oil basket. Edible oil largely is growing at about 8% year on year, but the food businesses are growing over 30% CAGR year on year. It is very natural for us to look at the growth prospects in the food FMCG products. We can grow in the food FMCG through putting in new capex, where territories which have not been still touched on, where we are looking at, and besides that we are also looking at acquisitions of businesses or brands going forward, because that's where we feel the real chunk of growth is going to come. Because if you see statistics, it's 30% year on year growth. Secondly, with 1.3 billion population of India, we are seeing that per capita income, the way it is increasing, the way demand that the youth of India is doing, it is very important that we also as companies need to adapt to their requirements. And this is something that we try and do very well at Adani Wilmar. So we are working on that. Our ready to eat products, our ready to cook products, our khichdi, our puha, and lot of soya nuggets is all a product of our study that we have seen from the youth of India, and we are adapting ourselves to take care of this demand going forward.
Right. So now, we have covered a lot of operational details, but अगर Fortune को हम एक brand के तौर पे देखें, and it's a household name, like you rightly said, it's present in almost every household in some or the other way. Brand Fortune के लिए, what is your vision? What happens next? Because one is like we discussed, operational part of it, but at a brand level, आपका vision क्या है for Fortune?
ये देखिए कि फॉर्च्यून एक ऐसी ब्रांड है जो ब्रांड हिंदुस्तान की ब्रांड है, हिंदुस्तानियों के लिए है, and it is really a product of Make in India. Everything that we do is made in India. Now going forward, आज 1 out of every 3 kitchen has a product of Fortune. I think that can only grow. There is a lot of opportunity going forward. What we really want is that we basically be in every kitchen. हर किचन पे ये विश्वास हो कि भाई कोई भी फॉर्च्यून की आइटम है, वी नो इट इज हाइजीनिक, इट इज कमिंग फ्रॉम अ प्लेस वेयर वी आर अवेयर ऑफ, इज अ ग्रुप दैट वी आर अवेयर ऑफ, बिकॉज इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. अभी हम भी बचपन में बड़े हुए हैं, तो देयर आर मेनी प्रोडक्ट्स जो किचन में आते हैं, एंड वी कैन रिलेट टू दैट. वी हैव सीन इट ग्रो ओवर द इयर्स. So I think with the history that now we've been able to have over the last 22 years, there's a lot of confidence in India. I think really India is growing in its rural markets. These are things not very people have not focused so much on the rural markets the way India deserves to be, and I think that's where the real India is growing now. So हमारा बहुत focus है. In fact, we have a whole vertical just looking at building rural infrastructure for distribution and our products. So going forward, really it's the kitchens that we want to look at, how we can increase more products and spreading our wings in the rural India. Also, we feel that when we go to rural India, we see that there is a lot of issues on things like malnutrition. So a few years ago, we started a campaign called Fortune Suposhan. And Fortune Suposhan really takes care of the India which is not nourished, where we have an issue on malnutrition. So we've been able to do a lot of work along that, and we are one of the people who are first few mover for doing things like this. So I'm very proud that we are doing a business with purpose. So this is
Right. I think that's very interesting and inspiring, sir. Thank you so much for joining us for this exclusive conversation, and we wish you all the best for the IPO as well. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.